Konstantin Päts was the most influential politician of interwar Estonia and served 5 times as the country's head of state. He was one of the first Estonians to become active in politics and started an almost 40-year political rivalry with Jaan Tõnisson, first through journalism with his newspaper Teataja, later through politics. He was condemned to death during the 1905 revolution, but managed to flee first to Switzerland, then to Finland, where he continued his literary work. He returned to Estonia, but had to spend time in prison in 1910–1911. In 1917, Päts headed the provincial government of the autonomous governorate of Estonia, but was forced to go underground after the October Revolution. On the 19th of February 1918, Päts became one of the 3 members of the Estonian Salvation Committee that issued the Estonian Declaration of Independence on the 24th of February. Konstantin Päts headed the Estonian provisional government, although he was imprisoned during the second half of the German occupation. In the provisional government, Päts also served as Minister of Internal Affairs and Minister of War, that left him organizing Estonian troops for the War of Independence. During the 1920s and early 1930s, Päts led the most right-wing party of the major political parties of the time, Farmers' Assemblies, that eventually merged with the Union of Settlers and Smallholders in 1932. Päts was the Speaker of the Riigikogu and served 5 times as state elder, a type of executive president elected by and dependent on parliament. During his last term as state elder, he organized a coup d'état to neutralize the right-wing populist VAPS movement. He was supported by the army and the parliament. During the authoritarian regime, many reforms were made and the economy grew. Päts ruled as Prime Minister in duties of the state elder and President-Regent until a new constitution was adopted in 1938, after which Päts became the first president of Estonia. During his presidency, the Soviet Union occupied Estonia in 1940. As president, he was forced to sign decrees for over a month, until he was finally arrested and deported to Russia, where he died in 1956. Family. The Päts family originates from Holsta near Viljandi in the governorate of Livonia. The family name Päts means 8 loaf in Estonian and is thought to derive from their ancestors from the beginning of the 18th century, who distributed free bread from the mill during a famine. The mill was initially named the Päts Mill and later Päts was adopted as an official surname. The father of Konstantin, Jacob Päts, was a house builder from Heimtali, near Viljandi. Konstantin's mother, Olga Päts, was from a mixed Estonian-Russian family and as an orphan grew up with foster parents in the Razumovsky family, where the father, her uncle, was the mayor of Valga. It is also claimed that she grew up with the Krudina family, where the father, Baron Krudina, was his uncle. However, it is more likely that she served the Krudina family later as a governess. Jacob and Olga met while they were both in the service of the Krudina family. Konstantin had an older brother Nikolai, 3 younger brothers Paul, Voldemar and Peter, and a younger sister Marianne. Since the mother Olga was raised in a wealthy Russian family, the father Jacob converted from Lutheranism to Eastern Orthodox Christianity. The children were all brought up in strong Orthodox traditions and were said to have a realistic mindset, just like the parents. The family initially lived in Viljandi. Jacob was among the peasant activists during the Estonian national awakening, who pleaded to Emperor Alexander II against the oppression by Baltic German nobility in 1865. After this, he came into conflict with the local nobility and was forced to move to Tartu Ranna, near Pärnu, in 1873. As Konstantin's father was unable to find a job in Tartu Ranna, the family moved to a rental apartment Pärnu in 1882. 3 years later, Jacob bought himself land in Rakula near Pärnu, where they initially lived in the roadside Petlama tavern, but built a new house after the tavern burned down. Jacob divided his land into smaller lots and built half a dozen new houses to the site that eventually grew into a borough and later a district of Pärnu's early life. Konstantin Päts was born on the 23rd of February 1874 near Tartu Ranna. According to locals, he was born in a barn of a roadside farm, since his mother couldn't reach a doctor in time. He was baptized in the Tartu Ranna Orthodox Church. Konstantin started his education in the Orthodox parish school of Tartu Ranna. In Pärnu, Konstantin attended the Russian-language Orthodox parish school. Later he attended the Riga clerical seminar in 1887 to 1892, but after deciding not to become a priest, he left for the high school in Pärnu. From 1894 to 1898, he attended the Faculty of Law of Tartu University, that he graduated as Cand.Jur. After graduation, Päts served in the Russian 96th Infantry Regiment of Omsk in PSKV and was promoted an ensign. After rejecting an academic career in Tartu, he moved to Tallinn in 1900 to start a political career.